This episode is brought to you by Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard of Anchor, you should definitely check them out. It's a super easy tool that anyone can use to create and distribute their podcast. It has everything you need, and you can do it all from your computer or even your phone. Need your podcast cover art? There's a tool. Music and sound effects? They have you covered. Want to record on the fly? It's easy with the app. Now you may be saying to yourself, I already have a podcast. No worries, just create your account, upload, and publish to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Looking for some walking around money? Anchor connects you with advertisers who match your brand. It's a one-stop shop for all of your podcasting needs. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizQuik. Today on the podcast, we have Mike Parnell. He is with MPC Builders, and he's going to talk to us today about philanthropy and how that affects his business and his clients.
That's right. You're listening to BizQuik. This is where Julie and Corey provide quick and useful information to small business owners. BizQuik is the podcast where small business owners get to showcase their businesses and receive expert advice and guidance in areas many entrepreneurs struggle with. And you, the listener, get solutions, tips, and tricks on real-world topics that many small business owners face. Julie and Corey are the experts small businesses hire when they need solutions. And the BizQuik podcast is just one way they deliver those solutions. Let's start the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, Mike.
My pleasure.
All right, Mike, let's jump right into it. Can you just kind of give our listeners an overview of what MPC Builders does, like where you're located and just what it is what you focus on in terms of your business?
Yeah, sure. So we're located headquartered in Manasquan, New Jersey, which is along the Jersey Shore, about an hour south of New York City, an hour west or east of Philadelphia. And we also have a satellite office in Swedesboro, New Jersey, that services the Philadelphia market. Philly, we are 100% commercial constructors, primarily working at Temple University and a couple of the large real estate investment trusts out there that own office buildings and warehouses and restaurants and what have you. And then in the New Jersey market, which I head up, we are primarily custom home builders along the coast, single family custom homes. And we also do the occasional commercial project. We've built everything from restaurants to fitness centers, higher ed buildings, medical offices, pretty much you name it. So yeah, we're pretty diverse. We like to try to keep that split as close to 50-50 from a revenue standpoint as possible, so that in the event that residential has a downturn, we're not wiped out, and vice versa. And right now, it's really a boom in the residential market. Even despite the shutdowns from COVID and everything, it's actually caused a huge spike in the coastal area, about an hour south of New York City. So ironically, we went from fearing COVID was going to, have a major impact on our revenue over the next 12 months to probably, double our revenue from last year because the amount of people that are looking to move down our way that used to have to live either in the city or within a real short commute of Manhattan.
Nice.
Wow, that's good news for you.
Yeah, it's crazy. I kind of felt almost guilty about it because so many of my friends are business owners, and I actually had to shut a business back in May. We had opened a kids Ninja Warrior gym, and we were just getting going. We were like 5 months in, and this totally just shut us down. We would have still been closed. So after 3 months of no end in sight, as far as the business being shut down, indoor, higher occupant type of gym, we just decided to pull the plug. But so many of my friends are business owners, and just seeing them go through all this stuff, it's been difficult. It was difficult for a while to be happy about how well we were doing, and how well our future is, because you just, I don't know, you almost feel guilty. But, someone told me the other day, there's plenty of other markets where you're getting crushed and other people are sound, with real estate particularly. So you got to, do what you can, try to help people along the way as much as you can, and, take it while the going's good.
So did you have any with the boom in business that you had, especially on the residential side there, was there anything that you had to do to deal with that growth, that sudden growth? And I mean, how did you get through it?
So there's most of our pop has been happening over the last couple of months. And with construction, there's always a lag between when you first start contacting a client and when the construction actually commences. So, usually, your typical house, from the time the lead comes in to the time that people end up moving in, is at least a year, depending on the size of the house. Larger homes, even longer, because, we budget the house conceptually for them. If you came to us and say, hey, we're looking at this lot, but we have no idea what the house is going to cost us, I would sit down with you, conceptualize the budget. You'd say, all right, it's, this many square feet, this many bedrooms and bathrooms. I want, this level of trim on the inside, and the outside kind of looks like this picture. And we kind of conceptualize the budget from that. And then we recommend what architects you should contact to do the construction drawings, file permits, finalize the budget, and then we're off and running in construction, which is anywhere from 6-7 months up to a year plus, depending on how big the house is. So it's a long process. We are in the middle of that upfront planning and budgeting stage right now, with probably 7 or 8 clients at once right now. So one set of plans is filed for permits, the others are still in the design phase. So depending on how soon everything actually goes forward with permitting and when construction will start, you will probably be in the position to hire one more manager, I believe, maybe 4 or 5 months from now, as the work really gets going out in the field. Because all of these opportunities really won't pick up on site for another 4 months, 3 to 4 months, I would say. So, late fall, early winter, through the entire 2021 calendar year, we'll be really humming out in the field, and we'll be in the position to probably hire.
Good for you. So I know that you have a unique approach to running your business in terms of how you work with your clients with this sort of open book approach. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that is, why you took it on, and how that makes a difference for your clients?
Sure, I'd love to. So my background is large-scale commercial construction. I built the MLS soccer stadium for the New York Red Bulls, was one of my last projects before I started my company. I also built the Conrad New York Hotel. That was a $120 million hotel. So my background is big, complex, detailed projects. And when I started my company on my own, I wanted to bring, I wanted to have some aspects where separates us from the average, small commercial or custom home builder in the markets that we were going to be competing in. So, after, talking to people and obviously hearing horror stories of, I'll focus on residential because that's where I think our big differentiator is, and where our business is going. The constant complaints were poor communication, people not doing what they say they're going to do. Budgets are minimal and confusing, not very clear. We don't know where our money's being spent. There's always overruns, change orders that can't really be explained, and schedule misses. So every one of those aspects are what we're trained to be great on in the commercial world, and what we have to be. I went to school for construction management at East Carolina University. So, I actually have a degree in this. And then, 10 and a half years in the field building, almost $500 million worth of construction projects. So for clients like Goldman Sachs, Princeton University, Red Bull from Austria. So you can't be weak in any of those areas where the typical home builder is weak. So that was our unique ability. That was our differentiator right there. So from the get-go, whether I was building, when we first opened, I would do any type of project. I'd build a deck, redo a bathroom, but I had the same level of detail in our budgets, in our communication, in our contract, stating exactly what was included, what the costs were for each item in an open book manner. That's how those big projects in the commercial world are run. The whole project is an open book, even showing how much the profit of the company is going to be making, what percentage of that direct work cost of construction we're going to be marking up. And we brought that to the residential world, and it's really been a game changer. I think people really appreciate, that I like to say we educate our clients as opposed to, keep those cards close to your vest as in like a defensive, protective measure.
Sure. Speaking as someone who once had a $27,000 tile bill the day before closing, I appreciate that approach very much.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we try to avoid, entirely. We steer our clients to the right resources and vendors when they're picking out those different, material allowances. And, I'm not going to tell you, your tile is going to be $1 a square foot in your master bathroom, and then you go and spend $22 a square foot. We have all that communication and coordination of the design up front, so that our original contract, unless you decide to upgrade something along the way, is pretty much the cost of, the final cost of construction.
Okay. And Mike, you have a connection to a particular charity that you donate a portion of your profits to every year or month or whatever that is. Do you want to tell us about the charity and how?
Yeah.
And also, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of tell us about how it just like you work it into your business as well, like your culture.
Yep. So 3 years ago, in a couple of weeks, my daughter was diagnosed with a really rare autoimmune disease called juvenile myositis. And it affects 2 to 4 children out of 1 million in the U.S. a year. So it's super rare. And with any rare disease, the funding and research for treatments is, kind of not a priority for companies. It's not a big money maker. Pharmaceutical companies aren't going to really turn a profit selling to 2 to 4 patients out of 1 million. So there's a foundation that we got involved with early on, more for like emotional support and information than anything initially, because it's so rare. There was 5 other kids that we know of in New Jersey that had this condition. So we got involved with the Cure JM Foundation. It's the only foundation supporting this disease. And after about a year of just getting my daughter treatment and getting her disease under control and really processing it on our own, we started doing some fundraising for the foundation and participated in their holiday challenge and their walks and whatnot. And then a year ago, how I met Julie was through the Jesse Itzler programs. And I was at a conference in Ohio, and Jesse was one of the keynotes, and he was talking about 29/029, and I was thinking, that would be great. Like I'll do this event. It's like perfect because the disease attacks like your leg and muscle strength and your shoulder strength, and what a greater tie to raising money for this disease and a grueling endurance event. So I signed up for that, started raising money for the event, and set a really high goal to raise $100,000 over the year. which the event is scheduled to take place in October. So I raised about probably about 20. I was about $15,000 around Christmas, and I'm like, how am I gonna hit this goal? And what I was reading about different organizations like Tom's and other what's the outdoors company?
Cotopaxi?
Julie, Cotopaxi. Yes. So I was listening and reading to their story, and I'm like, we got to do this with our building company. Who else are you going to pick? When everything's neck and neck, and this guy can build your house and that guy can build your house, and the budgets are the same. Like, why wouldn't you go to the guy who's going to donate 10% of the profit? So we decided to do that, and we announced it on social media and put it on our website, and so 10% of the profit of every one of the contracts that we secure will at the first billing gets donated to the Courage AM Foundation. And we started doing that this year. And I don't know if it was due to that or just for from good karma, but in the past 6 months we've got more leads for new homes and projects than we've ever had in a 6-month period in the history of our 8-year history of our company. So I think we're on the right track by doing so.
We wanted to take a quick break to tell you more about SB Pace, the small business consulting company that makes this podcast possible. SB Pace, which stands for Small Business Planning, Advising, Coaching, Expertise, focuses solely on helping small businesses and entrepreneurs. Are you looking to start a small business of your own? SB Pace can get you up and running with a solid foundation that's built to last. Are you an existing small business in a slump or just looking for ways to improve what you do? We can help with that. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? SB Pace is the partner you need. You can find out more about SB Pace and what we have to offer by visiting our website, sbpace.com.
So how do you promoted it on social media? Is it right on your website that you guys donate 10%?
Yeah, we put a blog post on our site with a picture of my daughter and background story, and and stated that 10% of your contract, not your contract, our profit in your contract, 10% of that will go to the foundation. So it's really, for me personally, it's really shifted the mindset of growing the business, and also like when you tie something emotional to any challenge that you're up against, you've got like this inner extra strength or extra motivation to continue. So to me, when I get a new lead coming in, all these opportunities, I'm now excited that hey, if I book $5 million, if I book $5 million worth of work, and I have a projected $500,000 profit, all that, 50 grand is going to go towards my goal. And that's how I'm seeing those things now, and being able to make a bigger impact by our company making a bigger impact in our market. And it's exciting.
Have you been able to partner with like potentially any other businesses to, help that charity, or to, just grow your business in general because of that?
I haven't yet. That's a good idea. And something I should pursue, because I really would like to. And not a lot of businesses, I think, have a named charity that they contribute to. That was one thing I noticed I was doing. I was volunteering for this organization and that organization. I'd raise a little money for them, a little money for this one, and now I try to focus all my energy and all my impact on this one cause, and I think it's more efficient that way.
Sure. And I was also thinking, since this disease is so rare, there's probably a community out there of parents that I would assume are probably a part of, and I would wager that a portion of them are also small business owners.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea. I created a Facebook and Instagram page. Sent to a Cure is the name of our fundraiser for this. I've been considering actually creating a 501c3 to do this long term, so that it's, our company is funding that nonprofit, and then that nonprofit's making the donation, just to kind of clean it up and possibly get people, other businesses, and even some of our clients who are also business owners, to donate to that charity. So that's a great idea.
It is a really good idea. I want to kind of pivot back to one of the things that you were talking about when we first started recording. You were talking about having that sort of guilt that your business was doing really, really well when there were so many other people that were struggling. What advice have you given to other small business owners who are struggling, to kind of help them kind of see their way through this?
Yeah, we had an issue come up a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, actually coming up on 2 years ago. So right now we have 3 employees, and I was up to like 9, like 3 years ago. And we had a couple of big projects. We were humming along, growing pretty quickly. We were actually on the Inc. 5000 list 3 times in a row, from the growth in our revenue. And as you're growing and you're feeling good, I think you can have the tendency of not really looking deep in the weeds of how you're doing financially, and you got the revenue rolling in, you got projects going, you hire for a need rather than a more targeted approach, from a revenue and profit growth planning standpoint. So we were up to like 9 employees, and we had a couple big projects in the works, like 2 falls ago. And within around between November and December, both of them fell through, like rug swept right up from under us. And I found myself like super overstaffed. And when you're a small business, you're real close with your employees. I mean, we had family barbecues, and we'd go away. I'd take employees down to ECU for college football games, and we were like a close knit little family. So when I found myself in this position and had to lay people off, it was tough. It was really tough, and I was like shaking. And I felt like I was like I was a failure, basically. And by going through that, it helped me. I first identify that I was I was looking at my own personal worth and success tied to the business success. And things happen in a business, and I don't even know what the statistics are, like 7 out of 10 fail, or even higher than that, right? 9 out of 10, especially before a certain amount of years. We're 8.5 years in. This was like 6.5 years in. So I was looking at more from an ego standpoint, like, oh my God, what are people going to think of me? Like, I've got all these lame awards on the wall, and then I'm going to fail. Like, I'm overstaffed. I didn't plan this right. And in business, things happen. The unknowns hit. Things get canceled out of left field that for no reason you could possibly anticipate or plan for. So by going through that, I've now been able to separate my own ego from the success of a business, and my own self-worth from the success of a business. And so that's really what I've been saying to a few good friends of mine, that if you have to start over from this, it's not the end of the world. Maybe this is a sign that you need to change your business model. Maybe, if the world's going to change, you're going to need to change with it. One of my friends has a fitness studio up in Hoboken, and he was shut for 3.5, almost 4 months. We were going on hikes because he wasn't able to work, and talk for hours during those. And I was just saying to him, this might be a sign that you need to get out of Hoboken. He just got married the past year, and they're looking to have kids, and maybe that's not the right situation for you anymore, and to not look at it so personally, and like it's if your business has to close and possibly reopen in a different form, that it's like the end of the world, like you're a failure, even though you worked your butt off and put everything you had in this business. It doesn't mean it, it's a business. It's one chapter in your success story, and it doesn't have to be the only chapter.
So that brings up an interesting question that I have, and just advice that you might have for people, because most small business owners, they like their business is an extension of them. So anything that happens, they take it personally, good or bad. It's a reflection of them. So how, what advice would you give to anybody out there listening who might be in that situation, and the best way to, possibly detach yourself, at least emotionally?
Yeah. I was talking about this the other day. Like, I used to take in construction, there's smooth days and there's really bumpy days. The weather turns, something goes wrong, a delivery doesn't show up. Like there's ups and downs constantly. And I used to be so worried about every little bump in the road, and oh my God, what's my client going to think, and how's that going to reflect, and I need their reference and referral for the next client, and literally every little bump. And you cannot do that to yourself. Or I think the lesson I learned from that is that people look at, if you do the best you can do on a daily basis and communicate, deliver the bad news just as well as you deliver the good news, that your clients, at the end of the project, at the end of the outcome, they're going to look at like the big picture. No one's going to remember every little bump on the road over an 8-month period. That as long as you end well and the finished product is what you promised, that's what everybody's going to remember. They're not going to remember, every little step of the way. How that translates to every businesses. You get a bad review here and there if you're a retail person. Restaurant reviews. Some people are just going to give you a bad review regardless. So I think you can't take it. You can't worry about everyone's opinion, because you're not going to please everyone all the time. And you certainly can't take a negative review or a negative comment personally as like an indictment on yourself, as long as you live, in a way that you are given 110% of yourself at every given time.
All right, Mike, we're going to have to wrap it up. So is there anything else you wanted to add? Anything that we forgot to cover today? Tell us where we can connect with you.
Yeah. So our Facebook is MPC Builders. Instagram is at MPC Builders, and our website is mpcbuilders.net. And I'm Michael Parnell _NJ on Instagram. If you'd like to get involved with our fundraiser, you can go to any of our Facebook or Instagram pages, and there's a link to the fundraiser in the bio.
And that will help people to donate to your 29029 charity as well?
Yeah. So, yep. So it's our Ascent to a Cure fundraiser. 100% of the proceeds go to the Cure JM Foundation.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. And for all of our listeners out there, you can connect with us on all the social media sites. So not all of them, but the major ones: Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And you can connect with us on our websites at sbpace.com and bizquickpodcast.com.
And make sure that you subscribe to our podcast. So wherever you are downloading and listening from, you can subscribe, and we would love it if you gave us a like and a review, because the reviews help.
Feel free to reach out to us through social media on our websites, whatever is your preference, to let us know if there's any kind of topics that you want to cover, or if you want to be on the podcast as well. Lastly, we have a book out. It's Seriously Now What? A Small Business Guide to Disaster Preparedness. You can get that on Amazon, or you can just go to our site and click through to purchase it on Amazon, but it's out there both digital and physical.
Perfect. Thanks again. I'm Julie.
And I'm Corey.
And this is BizQuik, helping small businesses across America.